Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are settling in with a topic that feels, incredibly familiar. It's warm, it's comforting, it's probably sitting in your cupboard right now.
It is. We're talking about tea.
We are.
And it really is the universal beverage. The sources we're looking at today describe it beautifully. They call tea a drink that transcends borders, languages, and generations.
I love that.
Yeah, it manages to be both ordinary and sacred at the same time.
Ordinary and sacred. That's perfect. It's the drink you have when you're sick, when you're gossiping, or when you're meeting royalty. But here is where we need to stop the cozy intro and get to the hard data.
Right.
Because if I asked you or anyone listening to guess which country drinks the most tea, the heavyweights of consumption, who would you guess?
Oh, almost everyone says China. It's the birthplace of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Or they say the United Kingdom because of the Queen, afternoon tea, the whole British identity.
Exactly. And you would both be dead wrong. We are looking at a ranking of the top 30 tea-drinking countries based on annual per capita consumption.
And that's the key, isn't it? Per capita.
It's everything. We aren't looking at who buys the most tea total, but how much the average person in that country physically consumes in a year. And the leaderboard is honestly shocking.
It completely shatters the stereotypes we have about global culture. We're going to see rankings that put, tiny nations above global superpowers.
And we're going to uncover rituals that make dunking a tea bag look incredibly boring.
Oh, definitely.
We're talking about sipping tea through rocks of sugar held in your teeth, pulled tea that defies gravity, and a #1 country where people drink nearly 7 pounds of tea every single year.
And to put that in perspective, 7 pounds of dry tea leaves is a massive amount of volume. Imagine a pillowcase stuffed with dried leaves.
Wow.
That is what one person is getting through in a year.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start right at the top. The gold medalist, the undisputed world champion of tea drinking, it is Turkey.
Yes, Turkey is the leader, and it isn't even close. The data shows they consume a massive 6.96 pounds, that's 3.16 kilograms per person, annually.
That is just staggering. But why Turkey? I mean, I know they like tea, but 7 pounds.
It's interesting because historically, coffee was the drink of the Ottoman Empire. But after World War I and the fall of the empire, coffee became expensive to import.
Oh, okay.
Tea, however, could be grown domestically in the Black Sea region, so it became a matter of national sufficiency. And now, tea, or say, is the lifeblood of Turkish social culture.
So it's not just a morning beverage for them.
Not at all. It's the primary mechanism of socialization. And the vessel matters. It's served in these small, delicate, tulip-shaped glasses. You've probably seen them.
The clear glass ones.
Clear glass so you can see the deep red color of the brew.
Yeah.
And because the glasses are small, the tea stays hot.
Right. They don't use ceramic mugs.
No, and that's key. It also means you finish it quickly. So you don't just have one, you have 10, 15, 20 a day.
20 a day.
It's a constant flow. Whether you are negotiating a rug sale, waiting for a bus, or sitting in your living room, the tea is pouring.
It sounds like an IV drip of caffeine. Okay, so Turkey is the clear winner. Now, moving to the runner-up. Taking the silver medal, we have a country closer to what I expected, but maybe higher on the list than I thought. Ireland.
Ireland takes second place with 5.21 pounds, or 2.36 kilograms per person.
Okay, we have to pause here. The Irish are beating the English.
By a significant margin.
That feels like a massive upset. I feel like if you walk around London, tea is everywhere. How is Ireland drinking so much more?
It comes down to intensity. The sources note that for the Irish, tea is a household staple, often drunk multiple times a day, well into the evening. It's a comfort blanket for the nation.
And the style is very different from Turkey, I assume.
Very different. We're talking about incredibly strong black tea, usually served with milk, the classic Irish breakfast style.
It's funny, whenever I have Irish breakfast tea, it feels like jet fuel.
It has to be. It's designed to stand up to a lot of milk. It's a sustenance drink, really.
So we have Turkey and Ireland. Who is taking the bronze?
This one brings us back to the region near Turkey. Number 3 is Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. That makes sense geographically.
It does. They consume 4.63 pounds per capita. The influence of Islam is highlighted here as a factor in cultures where alcohol is less prevalent, or forbidden. Tea becomes the major social lubricant.
It serves the function that a pub might serve in other cultures.
Exactly.
Do they use the tulip glasses too?
Very similar. They use pear-shaped armudu glasses. And the ritual is lovely. It's traditionally served alongside sugar or preserves, but not necessarily mixed in. It's about the accompaniment.
So the top three are Turkey, Ireland, and Azerbaijan. Now we have to address the elephant in the room, or perhaps the bulldog, the United Kingdom.
Yes.
You said the Irish are beating them. Where did the Brits land?
The UK comes in at number 4.
Fourth place. The creators of Victorian afternoon tea and the Builder's Brew missed the podium.
They did. The data shows they drink 4.01 pounds per year. It's still the favorite drink of the nation, and the average Briton drinks a few cups daily. But strictly by the numbers, they are just behind Azerbaijan.
I feel like there's a national identity crisis happening in London right now, but let's keep going down the list. When I think of heavy tea drinkers, I also think of Russia.
And you'd be right too. Russia comes in at number 7 with 3.05 pounds per person.
Now, Russia has a very specific mechanism for tea that I've always found fascinating. It's not just a kettle on a stove.
No, the sources highlight the samovar.
Big metal urns.
Exactly. But it's not just a water heater. It's a concentrate system. You use a small teapot to brew a very, very strong concentrate called zavarka.
Zavarka.
It's basically tea syrup, pitch black and bitter. You put that small pot on top of the samovar to keep warm.
So you don't drink the Zavarka straight?
Definitely not. You pour a tiny amount of that syrup into your cup, and then you use the spigot on the samovar to dilute it with hot water to your taste.
That's brilliant for hosting.
It is. Everyone gets their tea exactly as strong as they want it without brewing fresh pots.
It's efficient. And the sources mention they often drink it with lemon or jam.
Yes, often putting a spoonful of jam right into the tea or eating it alongside. The source notes that this habit and the tea itself arrived from China in the 17th century over the land routes.
Okay, you just mentioned China. We have to talk about the shockers. You mentioned earlier that people assume China is number 1. If Turkey is number 1 and Ireland is 2, where's China?
This is where the difference between total volume and per capita really hits home. China ranks 21st.
21st.
And India, the world's second largest producer of tea, ranks 29th.
That seems impossible. China is the birthplace of tea. They have thousands of years of history. India runs on chai.
It's all about the population math. China has a per capita consumption of 1.25 pounds. India's just 0.72 pounds. When you have populations over 1 billion people, you have a massive rural population and vast areas where habits vary. So while the total amount of tea drunk in China is astronomical oceans of tea,
right,
the average per person is diluted by the sheer number of people.
That's a really important distinction. So in Turkey or Ireland, basically everyone is drinking tea all the time.
Pretty much.
In India and China, tea is culturally huge, but the intensity per person just isn't hitting those levels across the entire board.
Precisely. And there's a generational shift, too. In urban centers in China and India, coffee culture is rising fast. But for now, the stats are clear. The heaviest users are not the producers.
That is a great reminder that data requires context. Now, I want to shift gears. We've talked about the rankings, but I want to talk about the rituals. Because the sources mention some ways of getting tea into your body that honestly sound way more interesting than my morning mug. Let's talk about sugar.
It's a huge theme. In the West, we might stir a spoonful of sugar in. But in other cultures, the sugar is a physical tool. Let's look at Iran, which ranks number 5.
Number 5 is high. That's ahead of Russia.
It is. They consume 3.3 pounds per person. Traditionally, Iranians drink strong black tea without milk. But instead of stirring sugar into the cup, they use canned.
And canned is rock sugar.
Yes, hard lumps of sugar. You place a lump in your mouth behind your teeth, and you sip the hot, bitter tea through the sugar.
That is fascinating. So you're creating a filter.
Exactly. It allows you to control the sweetness with every sip. If you want it sweeter, you let the tea wash over the sugar more. It's a very tactical way to drink.
I feel like my dentist would disapprove, but my taste buds would love it. Now, staying on the sugar theme, there is a weird anomaly in Europe. We skipped over Germany because generally Germany is a coffee nation, but there's a specific region.
Ah, yes. East Frisia. This is in the far north of Germany, on the coast. If East Frisia were its own country, it would arguably be the #1 tea drinker in the world.
Higher than Turkey.
The data says East Frisians consume about 300 liters of tea per person annually. That is astronomical. And they have a ceremony that is almost religious.
Tell me about it.
It starts with a specific blend, usually a strong Assam. They put a large piece of rock sugar, called a clincha, in the bottom of the cup. Then they pour the piping hot tea over it.
And the sources say you can hear it.
Yes. The sugar cracks from the heat. It makes a snapping sound. Then, and this is the best part, they use a special spoon to lay a drop of heavy cream on top. but they do not stir it.
You don't stir.
Never. The cream sinks and then rises in a formation they call a wolkje, or little cloud. You drink it in layers.
Oh, wow.
First the cool, creamy top, then the hot, bitter tea, and finally the sweet, sugary bottom.
That sounds incredible. It's a 3-course meal in a cup.
It really highlights how tea adapts to the climate. East Frisia is cold, windy, and damp. This rich, sweet, heavy tea is designed for that weather.
Which brings us to another climate adaptation, the heat. We see Pakistan at number 6, practically tied with Iran, but their approach is totally different.
Pakistan treats tea as fuel. It's a national obsession, but often prepared as doodh padi. It translates to milk leaf. They boil the strong black tea directly in milk, along with sugar. No water.
Oh, wow. So it's rich.
It's incredibly rich, creamy, and calorie-dense. It's not just hydration, it's food. In a hot, bustling environment, it gives you energy.
And we see that hospitality culture continuing into the Arab world. Morocco is number 8, and I think most people know Moroccan mint tea.
Yes, Maghribi mint tea. But again, it's the preparation. It's green tea gunpowder, green tea packed with fresh mint leaves and a lot of sugar. And the pouring is an art form.
Right, from high up.
You pour it from high up to create a foam on top. And it says here it's a ritual of hospitality. You can't just have one.
It would be rude, too.
You sit, you talk, you drink 3 glasses.
Yeah.
One for life, one for love, one for death, as the saying goes. It averages out to 2.68 pounds per person.
I want to hop continents now. We've been very Eurasia-focused, but there is a South American entry in the top 10 that completely surprised me.
Chile.
Chile coming in hot at number 10. It is the only Latin American country this high on the list. Usually we think of South America as coffee or mate territory.
Exactly. Argentina and Uruguay are all about mate. But Chile drinks 2.62 pounds of tea per person. And it revolves around a specific time of day called La Once.
La Once, that means the 11.
It does, though the origins of the name are debated. Effectively, it's a tea time ritual that has replaced a heavy dinner for many. It happens in the evening.
So what is it?
Tea, accompanied by bread, avocado, cheese, maybe some sweets.
So in Chile, tea isn't just a drink, it's the centerpiece of the evening meal.
Correct. It's ingrained in the domestic schedule. While their neighbors are drinking herbal made, Chileans are having a very British-style tea with their evening bread.
That sounds delightful. Now, I want to look at some modern twists. We talked about how ancient this drink is, but the list includes some countries that are innovating. We mentioned Switzerland at number 25.
The Swiss are an anomaly.
What are they doing?
They are the kings of iced tea.
Really? I always assume iced tea is an American thing.
The Swiss have really embraced it. Despite being surrounded by coffee cultures like Italy and France, they lead Europe in iced tea consumption, about 30 liters per person annually.
So while the East Frisians are listening to their sugar crackle in the heat, the Swiss are cracking ice cubes.
Exactly. And then you have the Asian-Pacific innovations. Look at Taiwan at number 30.
The birthplace of bubble tea.
Right. Taiwan is famous for serious high-mountain oolongs. But globally, their biggest export is the concept of adding tapioca pearls and milk.
And even with that, they only average about 0.65 pounds per person.
Right. But the cultural impact is huge.
And Malaysia and Singapore have Tet Takrik. That's numbers 23 and 27.
Pulled tea. This is another one where the physics matters.
Yeah.
It's hot milk tea that is poured back and forth between 2 pitchers from a great height.
Why do they do that? Is it just for show?
It looks cool, but it serves a purpose. It cools the tea down to a drinkable temperature in the humid tropical heat, and it aerates the condensed milk to make it frothy and creamy.
It's amazing how every culture basically looked at tea leaves and said, okay, how do we make this work for our weather and our taste buds?
That's the beauty of it. The hardware, the leaf is the same. But the software, the culture, is totally unique.
Before we wrap up, we need to check in on the English-speaking world outside the UK. New Zealand is at number 9, and Australia is at number 17.
New Zealand is very high on the list, 2.63 pounds. They call it a cuppa. And the concept of a smoko or tea break is what keeps that consumption high.
It's the rhythm of the workday.
It is. In Australia, a bit lower, but they have the bush tradition of billy tea.
That's the camping tea.
Yes, tea boiled in a metal tin over a campfire, then swung around in a circle by the handle to settle the tea leaves. It's a symbol of colonial survival in the outback.
And finally, my neighbors to the north. Canada is at number 22. But where is the USA?
The USA did not make the top 30 list.
Ouch. We really are a coffee nation.
Canada drinks about twice as much tea per capita as the US. The sources attribute this to the lingering British influence in Canada. They're drinking about 1.12 pounds a year.
The U.S., well, between the coffee and the soda, tea just hasn't captured the daily ritual in the same way.
Not in the same way, no.
So, looking at this map we've just drawn, from the tea houses of Turkey, where it flows like water, to the samovars of Russia, the sugar rituals of Iran, and the evening meals of Chile, what is the big takeaway here?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it shows us that tea is a slow drink. Think about the preparation methods we discussed.
Hmm.
The samovar takes time to heat. The East Frisian ceremony requires you to wait for the sugar to crack and the cream to rise. The Iranian method requires sipping slowly through sugar.
You can't really slam these drinks in a travel mug on the way to work.
Exactly, and that might explain the rankings. The countries at the top, Turkey, Ireland, Azerbaijan, Iran, have maintained a culture where pausing for tea is a non-negotiable part of the day.
It's social. It's a break.
Right. And perhaps the reason we see lower numbers in places like the U.S. or even the declining intensity in urban China is that we are prioritizing efficiency over the ritual.
We want the caffeine, but we don't want the time commitment.
That's a provocative thought, isn't it? Are we losing tea culture not because we don't like the taste, but because we just don't have the patience for it anymore?
It's very possible tea demands that you stop.
Well, I think that's a perfect challenge for our listeners. We've heard about tea mixed with milk, lemon, jam, rock sugar, spices, even salt in some regions.
So if you are sitting there with your standard bag of tea in a lukewarm mug, maybe you aren't really experiencing the drink at all.
There's a whole world of preparation to try.
So maybe tomorrow, don't just boil water. Try the Iranian sugar lump method.
Yeah.
Or try layering cream like a German. Take the 10 minutes. It might just change your whole perspective on what this drink can be. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Sip slowly, everyone.